Hi. A few months ago, researching about motivation for people to learn a second language, I came across with the field of gamification. Now, gamification is the craft of designing games. There are very interesting research, and the experts there were talking about the core drives that motivate people to stay playing a game. And I thought at the time, well, could we make an analogy about people wanting to stay playing a game and people wanting to stay in a language learning course? Well, let me just tell you a story. Some time ago, I found an English course that had, according to me, and probably thousands of other people that learned English through this course, one of the best architectural designs that I've ever seen in a language learning program. It had a simple and yet very effective design that would deliver in a logical and natural way all the necessary tools needed to manage the everyday language with certainty, efficacy, and confidence. And all these after a reasonable short period of time. It was well thought from the beginning to the end of it, starting from the simplest to the more complicated issues. It emphasized natural intonation and emotional tones in the expressions such as surprise, doubt, certainty, excitement, and others. The other thing that impressed me about this course is that it was written in a storyline. This allowed the students to migrate to higher complexities without effort. It was like going from one page to the next, thinking that you would simply find something new there without the worry or the pressure of having to learn and memorize stuff. In other words, you just didn't notice that things were getting more complicated every day. It started with short sentences and then it would progress to longer and more complex sentences and ideas. The sounds of the speech were great. They were read at a very comfortable speed with an emphasis with the rhythm or in the rhythm and natural intonation in such a way that you could distinguish every single word without any major consumption of energy from your part. See, in contrast, if you try to listen to the sounds of a foreign language that you had never heard before, and if these sounds are pronounced at a normal conversational or reading speed, you will soon get very frustrated and unmotivated to continue. Psychologists call this learning helplessness. The whole course, from page 1 to the end of it, was very motivating. It was a vivid experience. It was like real life, but in virtual reality. It was well thought, well written, and well executed. From there on, it was up to us really to continue, into further levels, according to our wants and needs. Now, the course had 120 lessons. Each lesson had an approximate duration of about 10 minutes, and the idea was to listen to each lesson at least 3 times a day, which all the students gladly did, including me. I personally exceeded this mark, perhaps like many others, because I recorded the lessons in cassettes, and I easily listened to them from about 4 to 6 times a day easily. So I think that if you want to learn a language, you probably have to find a method similar to the one I just described to you. Not only because I say so, but you see, after many years of research, it seems that it all comes back to the basics. Real life tells us that without motivation, there is no learning. If you don't get motivated while you're learning a second language, you will simply abandon your efforts and will come up with all sorts of excuses for not continuing with the task. So perhaps the approach that you choose to learn a language is very, very important. Maybe you have tried other methods before and you got frustrated at the end of it and ended up dumping the idea. So maybe you could say you just, chose a method that it wasn't very good at all. That's all there is to it. Well, we will continue the discussion, or I will continue the discussion with more motivation about why and how to learn a second language. Thank you very much for now. See you soon.